Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Success Thursday this week with Inderdip Vraich. Hi Inderdip, welcome back.
Hey Vasco.
So Inderdip, on Thursdays we talk success, and of course before all of that we actually want to ask you, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
So one retrospective, there are many, but there's one which stood out for me and which I think every Scrum team should do once in their journey. So this retrospective is on psychological safety check. And what I did in this one, so I created some cards based on what does psychological safety mean and when do people don't feel psychologically safe in a team. So I created these cards and there were like 60 behaviors, which I jotted down. And then I created like two separate columns. The one column was our team, which said our team models this behavior, or I feel this way. And the other column was my team doesn't model this behavior, or I don't feel this, right? So they were the two columns. And I created those cards and I asked the team members if each one of them start putting them in two different columns. If they think our team model this behavior, then put it on the left side, otherwise put it on the right side. So each person went through one row, and they put the cards into two columns. And, when I was creating these cards, and I was thinking in my mind, based on my experience, that this card is going to go into this column and this card is going to go into this column. So that's how kind of my brain was working. And when I saw my team doing this, or when they finished it, and it was quite a different picture from what...
Can you give us an example of what one of those surprises was?
People didn't kind of put everything in the two columns. So there were many things which were sitting on the fence. So they were not sure where to put it. So there was one, so I can read it out. So it was like the risk of being seen as ignorant. And that was sitting on the fence, like in the middle. And because they couldn't decide where it should go. And then there was another one, risk of being seen as incompetent. And then risk of being seen as disruptive. So these, they were sitting on the fence. So I was like, okay, so how come they are sitting on the fence? So we had a good discussion on this one. And then there was another one, which was disagree and commit to the team decision. So can I disagree with the team, or then I have to commit to the team decision? Do I have that freedom? So when I saw this, because one person was doing one row, and then in the end, what we did, we went through each and every behavior and we talked about it. And you won't believe this retro, we had to finish it in two retrospectives because people wanted to talk so much about it, each and every behavior. And there is a possibility that one person has put it in one column and the other person wanted to go into another column. So we had a discussion about that as well. Oh my God, the information or the ideas it generated and how people opened up, it was amazing. It's like, and I think this was one retro which kind of put our team into that comfort zone where people could just be themselves and they can just voice their opinion if they don't agree with something. So that was, one retro which I would definitely recommend every team should do.
Thank you for sharing that a retrospective format with us. And now we would like to hear about how you consider success for you as a Scrum Master. Of course, the retrospectives are one of the tools we use for that. But at the end of the day, we need to have a clear view of what that success looks like so that we can work towards it. So share with us, Inderdip, how do you define success for yourself as a Scrum Master?
Yeah, so that is a one question which I keep on reflecting on myself. And going back to the Scrum guide, it says, so Scrum Master is responsible for the effectiveness of the team. So I posed this question to my team and I said, this is the definition of effectiveness in the dictionary. And what do we see our team, how effective is our team in terms of delivering? Are we focusing on the effectiveness of work? And then we had a great discussion on that. So I think I would consider myself as successful if my team is delivering what they have said they will deliver in a sprint to the stakeholders. So they are continuously talking to the stakeholders and listening to them. And this needs to go in every iteration, like in every iteration, they should be, my team is like doing a releasable kind of increment, whether that increment goes into production, that's, product owner or the business call. And as long as my team, if I'm not there, my team should be self-organizing, and they should be self-organizing or self-managing themselves and doing the work. And work should just continue as usual, even if I'm not there. They should be just, taking a step forward. And the other important thing I see is I want to see when, it's called kind of Scrum Culture Index. So it's kind of, how does my organization or my team feel? So it's like, are they happy? So that kind of resonates with me very highly, whether my team is happy and they are kind of progressing in the right direction, and they are being kind of transparent and open-minded to take or make new improvements and, adapt according to as the changes come. And they're not stuck in a, fixed mindset. They have an open mindset where they are ready to take any change which comes up. So I keep on telling my team, the day I'm not needed in the team, or, if you feel at any point like you don't need me and you have everything in your control, I would be so happy that day, and I think that'll be when I don't have to do anything. And even the retrospectives, I don't have to be there to run a retrospective, as long as my team can think, okay, in this sprint we need to, talk about this thing, what do we have to improve on this sprint, what we have done. So I think that day my job will be done, probably.
Absolutely. And quite a good list of items for the checklist that we should have as Scrum Masters. You mentioned Scrum Culture Index. Do you have a link for that we can share with our listeners?
Yeah, I was reading about somewhere, it was one person from, I think, Harvard School. They came up with this concept called smell of a place, which kind of mirroring the Scrum Culture Index. So yeah.
We'll put the link in the show notes then to share with our listeners. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Inderdip.
Thanks, Vasco.
Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.